Millions of dollars on a vacation home, a golf course, and the most expensive sneakers in history. Hello to all fans of the best game with a ball. Today I'll tell you what Stephen Curry spends his millions on. Let's go. Let's start with his house, which he bought in 2019. In his modest mansion, there is a pool outdoors, a guest house, a virtual golf course costing $60,000, and much, much more. The house is worth $31 million. I think everyone would like to live in such a place. But it seems Stephen may have rushed into the purchase because just a few months later, the Golden State Warriors team base moved from Oakland to San Francisco, which is 65 kilometers away from his home. But Stephen Curry has so much money that after buying the $31 million house, he bought a penthouse for $8 million not far from the new team arena. $8 million just to avoid being late for practice. What do you think about that? And how do you think Stephen Curry gets to these practices? Public transportation is poorly developed in America. And Stephen, thanks to his high recognition, doesn't have to worry about it. So Stephen was driving a brand new Porsche Panamera Turbo S. A quick note about this car: 620 horsepower, a top speed of 315 kilometers per h, and it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per h in 2.9 seconds. Oh, and it costs $180,000. But once, Stephen could have died in this car. Stephen Curry was involved in a 3-car accident at 9 a.m. on the highway. And if Stephen has so much money, it's not that big of a deal for him, because he spent almost the same amount on renovating a gym in California with Snoop Dogg. By the way, did you know that Stephen Curry is Santa Claus? Yes, really, no joke. Stephen spends millions of dollars every year buying Christmas gifts. In 2021, Curry became Santa Claus and made the entire city of Oakland happy at Christmas. For 12 days, Stephen and his team distributed food, books for schools, and all sorts of stuff to all Oakland residents. In total, to make the entire city happy for the new year, the basketball player had to spend $5 million. But besides voluntary donations, Stephen also spends money on fines. Now I'll tell you about the biggest fines of this basketball legend. In 2016, during a game against the Los Angeles Clippers, Curry, out of anger, threw his mouthpiece, for which he was fined $2,000. Then a few months later, during the legendary 2016 finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Stephen Curry lost his temper again and threw his mouthpiece on the court. This time, the fine was $25,000. Think that's all? In the next season, he threw his mouthpiece again. This time, the fine reached $50,000. In total, $77,000 lost due to the mouthpiece. Not bad, but on cryptocurrency investments, Stephen Curry lost even more. In 2021, Stephen decided to invest in NFTs. His entire crypto portfolio was worth around $300,000, and the most expensive piece was $180,000. However, just a year later, the crypto market crashed, and Curry lost half of his invested money. It's sad, but let's move on. Are there any esports fans here? Let me know in the comments. The thing is, Stephen loves video games, from Call of Duty to NBA 2K. He loves them so much that in 2018, together with Andre Iguodala and other investors, he invested $37 million in TSM, a professional esports organization in the USA. Thanks to Stephen's investment, TSM built the largest esports training center on the continent. The building has a content studio, a streaming room, a fitness center, and even a drainage capsule, not to mention all the computers and other equipment. The construction cost $13 million. As you can see, Stephen and Iguodala are tight friends. Because of this, when Curry broke the three-point record in history, he decided to thank his close teammates and gifted Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andre Iguodala Rolex watches worth $38,000 each. I've already mentioned that Stephen Curry loves charity. I guess I forgot to mention that he does this through the sale of custom sneakers as well. For example, these sneakers Stephen Curry sold for $30,000, and the money was donated to help victims of a fire. And this pair, sold for $52,000, went towards blood cancer research. But there is one pair, the most expensive in Curry's collection, and it's untouchable. Seriously, no one is allowed to touch them. Stephen Curry made NFT sneakers and sold them online for $333 each. In the end, this intangible pair brought Stephen even more money, which he later donated to charity. I think not all of Stephen's fans know that he loves golf. Curry even participated in professional tournaments, though he finished in last place. But it doesn't matter. Once, Stephen donated $1 million to his alma mater so that they could have their own golf course. So $1 million on golf, $10 million on charity, $30 million on a house. Do you think that's all? In 2018, Stephen Curry bought a production studio and named it Unanimous Media in honor of his unanimous MVP in 2016. He didn't just buy the studio, he invested $14 million in the movie Breakthrough, which became successful and grossed $50 million at the box office. Later, the studio had several successful projects. Recently, they signed a contract with NBC worth over $100 million. At this rate, in a few years, Stephen Curry could become a billionaire. While it seems like the basketball player spends a lot, he earns even more. And do you know what Stephen Curry has spent the most money on? Taxes. Over his NBA career, Stephen earned about $250 million. Well, he spent $142 million on taxes from that money. That's about the cost of 100 Lamborghinis. Let me know in the comments who you'd like me to make the next video about. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next hero. And as always, love basketball, play basketball. Bye!